Okay, so we're talking about first lab is first of all, what are group policy preferences? So if we go ahead and to our domain controller and check out some of the configurations in group policy. So on server 1, if we go there, let me just put the Magnifico. So server 1 here, and oh, let me just close that. So on server 1, if you go to tools and go to group policy management, everyone server 1 started? Yes. Okay, thank you. So group policy management, when we start group policy management, here, okay, default domain policy, let's just go there. Default domain policy, that's the top one. Everyone should have that one.
Group policy management.
Oh yeah. So tools, group policy management. So default domain policy, right click. So when you expand from forest domains and Netplus domain .local, so default domain policy, and click edit. So when you click edit, there is policies and preferences for computer configuration and for user configuration, policies and preferences. So we've been doing some labs in 410 for policies, where we deployed the software through the software installation, and we went for also going for some policies for blocking desktop and tried to know the scenarios, different scenarios, but we stayed inside the policies. We did not until now touched preferences. So what's the main difference between the preferences and policies here? So if you go back to the slide here, so group policy preferences here, GBP or group policy preferences stick even if it is not in the same OU, whatever is set on user or computer. So user can refresh settings as well until it is refreshed, or if we want to apply only once. So group policy preferences, when you apply any policy through that, so suppose the next lab is actually the first lab is our printer. We're going to install a printer, make believe printer, and then we're going to make it or try to make it available for all the users, so they don't have to install that. It should just appear there, right away. Then there, you already using that, or so group policy. Okay, so if the user, a new user joins, that printer should show up in the new user's profile even the first time when the new user just logs in, right? So preferences is all about that policy. Let me just show you this policy. This one, when we implement that, it is permanent. A user on the end user side cannot make any changes. Preferences, on the other hand, the user, even if you implement that, these preferences are actually the scripts that have been created in last 10-15 years by some Microsoft experts, and they were so popular that Microsoft just added those scripts here for general use as well. So those are scripts by very popular programmers or Microsoft administrators. Now these scripts, when you implement, suppose if we are implementing printer, which looks like this, when we click printer, even the printer option comes here, just like in Windows XP or Windows 7 it would appear, especially Windows XP. Look at the interface. But we can implement that printer in user side, but user can delete it too. User can make changes to the group policy preferences on any of the user side. So when we talk about preferences, when we talk about policies, so suppose if we remember that we implemented a policy called block desktop when we were trying to know group policy for the first time. So once you implement a policy, end user cannot do anything about it.
What about if they want to print double side?
Double side?
If they want to edit on the printer,
Yeah.
They want to print double side.
Okay. Oh, so if the printer driver is installed once, right click and then go to properties and then you can.
The drivers in the server, not on the client.
No, so drivers installed when the client first and double clicks that, the drivers gets installed for that. Then the features are available. So once the client has double click, otherwise it's just a icon there, sitting if you don't use it once. So first of all, you know, when we get to the printer, the main thing is that we have to install a printer and it has to be a print server where we install a printer, so the proper drivers are also installed. Although it's going to be make believe. But first difference between policies and preferences is that if you implement any policy, end user cannot do anything. When we block desktop, end user could not, there was no choice from the end user side. The desktop was blocked, we could not right click, we could not do anything, we could not change the wallpaper or anything. But preferences, we're going to know now that if we suppose deploy any of the preferences here, suppose there's devices here, folder options here, internet settings, local users and groups, network options, power options, printers, we can make all these changes across the user's environment. But preferences are not as tightly gripped as policies are. So end user can still make changes. Any one of the end user who wants to make changes, maybe we put a printer for all the users, but that printer is not near to that one user who has another printer he added manually himself, or ask the desktop support people to add that. So if we, through this preferences, if we made a printer available for all the users, that user doesn't want it, delete it. So that printer will not come back again, right? Or unless you force that policy there, then it will come back. But preferences are not as strictly implemented as policies. So we're gonna try to have a look at some of those policies that we preferences we have, and also they are not strictly enforced as group policy settings, as it says here. Policy takes precedence over preference if somehow the settings are same. If you implement some printer policy through policies, so whatever is strictly implemented, it will take precedence as well. Which means what? So through group policy preferences, you deploy a printer, and through group policies you deploy a printer as well. So the group policies printer will, if the printer was same, and maybe you put some other settings there that double-sided should be there, and you know, some other you cannot use color there, so you have more strict policies there. So if, let me show you here, if you implement anything from policies, suppose a printer, and you implement that same printer through preferences as well, some other administrator did that, so the printer that was deployed through policies area will take precedence over printers preferences area, right? Okay.
And I'm awake.
Okay. Okay. So cool.
What are we covering today?
A lot.
Sorry, review?
No. Oh, you didn't see the email. Yeah, I just sent it. So, yeah, the email is that next week also we're still carrying on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. So we're gonna continue. So what we're talking about is policies and preferences. Policies are strictly implemented, preferences are not, and if there's a conflict between policies and preferences, so whatever was implemented through policies will be taking precedence over the whatever was implemented in preferences. So then we're going for some more stuff here. All right, so group policy is managed, setting is permanent, yeah, we just talked about it. And if GPO is removed, then the corresponding registry settings also go back to default previous settings. Okay, one more difference is that I want to go back to here. If we have implemented some policy and you remove that policy later, so suppose I implemented a policy here and I removed the whole policy. So if the block desktop policy was implemented and then we delete it from here, of course all the settings of the default block desktop policy will be gone. when you implement something from the policies area and you remove it later, obviously all the settings must be removed from the 10,000 users. Suppose you implement it on 10,000 users. But in preferences, it's a little different. Some of the settings do remain there because they are not as strictly implemented, because the users can delete it anytime they want to. So when the preferences are implemented, they also are. Some of the settings are remained there, and sometimes it's manually you can remove those policies, preferences areas. But this is some rule of the thumbs that we were talking about. Let's get down to action. Okay, so what are the preferences? Through preferences, what kind of services we can implement, or what kind of services we can offer? So we, through key preferences, are printers that we can make the printers available in thousands of users profiles, right? They don't have to go through that process of adding the printers themselves, although we tried that as well in 7410 for printers, and we know how to do that. Group policies, of course, if it's hundreds of users and you want some general, big heavy printers to be available for all the users. Or one more thing, suppose there's floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 4. Each floor has 2 printers each. So when you're at floor 1 with your laptop, the floor 1 printer should appear. As soon as you're on floor 3, the floor 3 printers should appear, and floor 1 printers should disappear.
But the laptop is on wireless, can be that.
Even if wireless,
Yeah.
the way it works is that it detects the subnet.
Oh.
If you have separated floor 1 as 192.168, 200.1, and second floor as 192.168, 201.1, and 201, 202 dot, and 203 dot for floor 3 and floor 4.
So we don't give a permission any other user, whoever have the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So if they move into a second floor, they go into second floor. We don't give access to a second floor. Because
We could do that too. That
we could do that, but
Yeah.
we don't wanna.
Yeah, that's good. They should have their own printer. But this is a facility that was implemented in one of the banks for the bosses, for the directors, that they're moving to any floor,
Mhm.
the subnet is detected, and change subnet, then the printers there are made available as soon as the boss logs in from that floor.
How would the boss or director know which printer is which?
No, the policy would be implemented to an OU.
No, I'm talking about
Mm.
like when they look at it, like
Yeah.
PRN EXEC1 and PRN
Mhm.
EXE2.
Mhm.
How would they know which one's which?
Oh, well, they have to know that, at least. Go and visit that. Yeah. So, but after that, but if it's 5 or 6 printers, then it's definitely a confusion.
EA's job.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's, mainly high-end.
Main things name it, the printer name supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It's the first floor,
Beside the
and
kitchen.
first floor, right?
Yeah, beside that bald guy.
Yes.
So we can just put that, and if that bald guy never quits, and nobody can remove him.
And
So he's
not
a
in HR.
he's one of the HR as well. Okay.
He's not in HR.
In HR, not in HR, and he's there forever. Like, you always see him after 10 years. So you can actually put a thing beside him and say, beside that bald guy who never goes away, and nobody can fire him. So anyway, so printers we can make available, then network device mapping, power options, custom registry settings, control panel, i.e. file and folder redirection. This one policy is one of the policies is actually the exam objective as well, that hey, Microsoft is telling the instructors, please tell the students how to do folder redirection. Folder redirection. Anyone knows what's the one-liner for that? So there are hundreds of users, and they are saving. So when the user logs in, the profile loads. When the user profile loads, there are a couple of folders that are loaded as well. Some of the folders are downloads folder, documents folder, printers folder,
No.
documents folder. So let's load it. What do we have in our profile here?
Can you set that by folder redirection in group policy?
Yeah, that's how we're gonna do. Yeah. So if our profile is loaded, see these folders here. Documents, desktop, downloads, videos, pictures, music, right? So if all those folders are loaded, and it is our, of course, our habit that in the documents folder we are saving everything, right? But that document folder is actually saving where? Anyone knows that?
Sorry, can you say it a bit louder?
Okay. So document folders. Oh yeah, you were saying? Huh? The password again? Hey, we should have a password in French as well. This way you would never forget. He was raised there in Quebec, and French. He's a French guy. We have a French guy. Okay. So what we were talking about is when the folders are loaded, and there's a documents folder here. Can you tell me, if I log in from my profile and I see this documents folder here, and if I save any document here, where is it actually saving right now, my document?
It will save to the
Local computer. So if we all go to the documents folder, so where am I now? If you click this PC, everyone, and when you click this PC, do you see all this these set of documents here?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. So right click the document folder, and oh, seriously, I already implemented that. Okay. Let me just go to the other one. This PC. No, actually, yeah, here. So documents folder. When you right click here and properties. So the path is C:\users. Everyone sees this path?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the path for where the documents, this means the local computer. Suppose your users are, it's actually a bunch of computers which are for public, and your users, hundreds of users are actually using those public computers every day. So this means if you're working on one of the public computers, it's not necessary that you're going to work on the same public computer the second day. It could be taken by some other guy. This means if you're locally saving your stuff, that's not secure. Some other person can actually see that. Even there are some policies in the public computers that as soon as it shuts down or log off, actually shuts down, it deletes the local, whatever changes were made, it just deletes all those changes. So if you saved something yesterday on a public computer, any document in the documents folder, and documents folder path is C drive, then it's locally saving it. Never ever do that, right? So when you're saving something, make sure that it's a Z drive that you're saving to, because if you have a Z drive means it's your, it's saving already to a file server remotely somewhere that goes with you along wherever you log in every day, right? So our objective here is that users are saving more of their documents, end users are saving more of the documents in the documents folder, and they're not saving in the Z drive, although they were made aware of that, but out of the habit, some of the end users are still not catching that. So what we're thinking is that why don't we redirect this documents folder to a server where the users will just by default save anything here, but actually they're saving it on a remote server, everything, right? So this is the objective, and the users don't have to know that, oh, okay, this document folder, when they double click next day, the document is still there, of course, but actually it is being saved remotely somewhere in the server. So our objective is just that when they save it a documents folder, it does not save locally, it saves remotely on a server, and the users will have no idea actually that, oh, my documents are being saved remotely, and they're secure now because remote servers are being backed up daily, right? If somehow the documents are missing, the user can create that ticket, and then you can say that yes, we can just make it available for you, because if you saved in the documents, it was saved in our servers, not local computers. So we see the path here, and we need to change this path. So the path is this: when you right click the documents folder, everyone sees that it's C drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to change that path to a remote shared folder path, right? So only for documents folder, but we can do it for any other folder as well. Maybe you want their pictures to be saved. I don't think so. Or videos, music. Nah, we're just interested in the company for documents folder, right? So if you redirect the downloads folder, so up to you, because the people what they download. So objective first of all, we're going to create a shared folder to which we're going to redirect every user's document folder. Okay, that was a little tricky, but let's just go ahead. So if I just create a quick pick of that, so this is our domain controller, this is a file server, and this is our Windows 8. So when we go for okay, server 02, which could serve as a file server now, and this is Win 8 right now. So the documents folder inside, whenever the user logs in, the document folder is always there. The user is always saving in the documents folder. So till now it was being saved locally, but now we're going to redirect it to a shared folder on this server. Whenever the user saves anything here in the document folder, it's going to be saved on that shared folder in this server too. So what is the shared folder? So we're going to create a shared folder here, and then we're going to put a group policy that every Active Directory user's document folder, whenever anyone saves anything on that document folder, should be saved on actually on the shared folder on server 2. So we're going to check that now if it works, right? So everyone understands the purpose of folder redirection? Yes. Okay, thank you for the response. Okay, so let's do this exercise now. What we need to do first, on the domain controller DC01, let's go to C drive. On server 1, let's go to C drive and create a new folder called, so on C drive of server 1, let's create a new folder here, redirected docs. So
Server 02,
in server 01,
yeah?
yeah. Oh well, in the diagram, yes, you're right. So in the diagram I was saying server 02, but that was just for explanation. In fact, I should change here as well. So where's the, I love that. Yes. Okay, so what I'm doing is let's just create in our environment. We're just doing it for // restrict no redirect. What's wrong with me? Redirect underscore docs. Was it underscore? Whatever. Docs. I think it was not underscore. So redirect docs. Redirected docs. Right. So this is a folder we create on DC. Once it is created, we need to give it everyone read and write access. Well, just to check in our environment. So server 1, and we're going for redirected underscore docs. Okay, it was underscore. Right click, share with specific people. We all know that. Very very specific people. Everyone, click add.
You say everyone.
Huh?
You say specific people and everyone.
Yeah, very specific. Everyone is specific. Okay, so seriously, oh, hey, we traced a bug. Okay, so share, everyone, rewrite, share. Now we have this path here. Okay, so if we right click now, maybe you click done and finish, but if you can right click from here, you can just copy this path here as well. Otherwise, if you have clicked done, so this folder is open for everyone. Yes. So // let's see the path for this, right? So server 01, enter, and we have our redirected docs here. Everyone sees that? Yes, thank you. Okay, redirected docs. So your path should look like this. So if your path looks like this, just select all and copy. Once we select all and copy, minimize. Now we're going to create actually, let's mess with our default domain policy. In production environment, definitely it's a no-go area, but here let's go for our default domain policy. So everyone there in group policy management? Yes. Right click the default domain policy and click edit. Everyone did that?
But
Yes.
won't this do it for the administrator account as well?
So this is under the umbrella any user account.
Yeah.
It's going to put that policy on. So in production environment, definitely I would not go for that. That's why I'm repeating again and again. Do not try it in the office. So in prod, it's a no-go. But here we're just trying to see the policy implementing somewhere. But definitely it has to be some other
Hold on a
computer.
second.
Yeah.
Remember when you were saying policies and preferences? Is that what you meant? Policies and then the preferences? Oh, okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So it's still in the group policies.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are inside we have edited the group policy here. If we want to quickly see that the folder redirection, there is inside the policies, we want to first see if folder redirection really implements and quickly shows us as well. So if you go to user configuration and policies and go to folder redirection directly here. So that's the quick one first. So user configuration, policies, Windows settings, folder redirection. Now see all these folders, we can just redirect them all if you want, if you're that crazy. Okay, if we really want to redirect, maybe we create a new OU, we put directors and managers there. Maybe many of them were asking that, hey, even the pictures, music, videos, please save them all for us. Thank you very much. So we can just make that arrangement for just the bigwigs. And for now, we're just trying to make this documents folder available, so it will be redirected to what shared folder we created on DC now. So everyone there on documents? Yes. Right click, properties on the documents. Now we see this window. Everyone on this window? Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. So then we go for not configured and we go for basic. Redirect everyone's folder to the same location. We have just one shared folder. We're going to redirect everyone's folders, everyone's document folder to the same location. But so user 1 saves something in the documents folder. It's going to be saved under that folder we just created. If user 2 saves anything in the documents folder, that will be also saved in the same shared folder we just created. If user 3 does the same thing, it will also be saved in the same shared folder. So isn't that a security risk? Kinda. So user 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they're all saving in their documents folder, and ultimately it's going to that shared folder we just created. So where's the security here if everyone's documents are in just one folder? So we're gonna see that if it under that folder we did not create any new folder. When we created restricted docs folder, shared folder, it is empty right now, right? So we're gonna check if it actually creates something, separate folder for user 1, separate folder for user 2, separate folder for user 3 when the users start saving the documents. Anyway, we're just going for basic redirect everyone's folder to the same location, advanced specify locations for various user groups. So if we have multiple shared folders where we want to redirect some users for documents folder should be going to one shared folder, some should be going to the second shared folder, some to the third shared folder, that becomes complicated, right? So same shared folder for now, we're selecting that. And then the target folder location, create a folder for each user. Okay. So it's not only that Microsoft Word file will be just in one shared folder. There has to be, when user 1 logs in and saves something, user 1 folder should be created here as well in the shared folder, which is empty right now. When user 2 logs in and uses that documents folder, user 2 folder should be created under the shared folder as well, right? Which we just created and it is empty right now. So let's check it out now. Create a folder for each user under the root path and redirect to the user's home directory. If we had a home directory, redirect to the following location. We can just give specific location as well. Redirect to the local user profile location, which is also another location for the user profile. But if we select this root path, what does that mean? Whatever path we are giving here, and I am pasting what we copied before. Are you all able to see this page with this configuration?
Yeah.
Okay, all cool, cool. Man, your haircut. I'm gonna go and have a selfie with that, barber who did this haircut. This is the second time I'm seeing this. Is cool. So selfie with that. Okay. So, if it is like this, let's apply. Click apply to that, and it says this message, which is just saying if there are global settings related to folder. Okay, so older operating systems, they might not have this settings implemented, and that's pretty old. Windows XP and 2003. Normally 2003 support is already gone, so 2003 must be gone from majority of the environments by now. So press yes here. Yes, we want to implement for the newer operating systems, not for the older, so we're okay with that. So press OK. Since we made a change here, so obviously we know what to do. First we close this editor. Let's close this editor where we made this change. Second thing, once we are in the group policy management console, we're going for domain here and refresh and keep doing it all night. Or okay, once it is done, there's one command we always run. Yeah, so let's open the command prompt, gp update /force here, and enter. Group policy update has completed successfully, blah blah blah, and everyone's seeing this long message, big message. Okay, so it just says that client-side extensions have not been implemented until you restart this server. So certain user policies are enabled that can only run during logon. Not restart, log off. Yeah.
Isn't this message only because it's climbing to the
Everyone.
yeah, to everyone?
If we had put it just on users and not on administrator, it would not have come to us at least. It would have come to every other user, exactly as you said. So
Yes.
if we press yes, yeah, it's gonna log off, but that also means that we're implementing the policy. So yes, it's in production. Definitely we would not be implementing on us as well, the administrator, but here it's a lab, so so server 1 is logging in. Do we have user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4? Okay, let's just create 2 users quickly, and then we can just check them out, because by then the policy must have implemented perfectly, or we have given enough time. So I'm just going to server 1 and going to tools here and going to Active Directory users and computers. So we're just creating users 0, 1 and 2. So Active Directory users and computers on server 1, and going to users folder, right click, new, we know the drill, user 0, 1, control C, control V here. So it should look like this, user 0, 1 here, first name, full name, and logon name as well. And next, oops, I already have it. So user 02 I'm gonna create, maybe, oops, I have that too. Okay, next, oops, I have that too. Well guys, if you don't have it, just create it. I have both. Oh, user 3 since I'm here. Oh, oops, I don't have it. Okay, so oops, what's wrong with me and oops? Okay, next, finito. So well, I already have user 1 and 2, which are disabled for some reason, so I'm just gonna enable account, because I'm able to update the password, the value provide. Oh, I created it with PowerShell script. Reset password. All right, so password change and then enable account. Okay, it was just saying that I did not give the password, so I should give the password, then it will enable it, otherwise it will keep it disabled. Okay, so we have user 1 and 2, everyone? Yes. Okay, thank you for the reply. Refresh. So now we have user 1, 2 and 3. or user1 2 is enough. All right, so one more thing, pause, resuming now. So once we have two users created and hopefully the policy has been implemented. Okay, these are two new users, right? So now let's go to server 2, and we remember on server 2 when we right click the documents path here, it was here. Oh seriously, it's already on okay, server 2 or client 01. If you right click the documents path here, it was here like C. Now it should change to / restricted _ docs if the group policy reach to this computer. So for that, let's log off from server 2 and log in from user1 on server 2, right? So on server 2 we are logged in from Netplus admin, right? So let's log in from user1. So I'm just gonna put that very long command, log off, enter, and log in from user01. So because it's deployed across the domain, so every user gets it, enter. Oh, that was fast. Cool. So user1, where do we go and check? In the, yeah. So when we go for Windows Explorer here, the yellow folder, Windows Explorer, the documents just pops up right away then and there. Right click it, properties, and now it is redirected docs. But let's just create, so yes, first thing, cool, it shows there. Second thing, user1, let's just go to documents and right click and create one quick file here, text document, and name it user01. Okay, so user01 saved a document here, and everyone sees that, right? Okay, user01 saves the document here, right? Raj, group policy did not reach server 2. GPO plus F4, so log off, login.
Yeah, how to do that.
Okay, and login from user01, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. So you right click the documents and properties and it's not showing like this?
Still showing as the
C drive.
Yeah. Well, let me try.
Okay. So I've also created a link for user01. So I'm now logging off from user01, log off, and logging in from user02, and just create one file quickly for user02. I want to see what's the automatic structure it creates inside that shared or redirected docs folder, right? So other user, now I'm logging in from user02. So log off from user01, log in from user02, and once it's logged in, if it logs in today, okay, redirect policy is just showing there. Okay, and then Windows Explorer here on user02, same exercise. I'm going inside the documents and creating a file for user02 as well. Okay, user02. Okay. User02. Okay. All right. So now two users have actually saved the document. So if I go back to server 01, how does our redirected docs look like now? So if I go to C drive on server 01, there's our redirected docs. So it has created separate folders for every user. And if we open user 01, documents, and we need to have permission, and permission denied. Seriously, I'm Netplus admin. Hey, you already checked it. There's always a solution if you're an enterprise admin. There's always a solution. So yes, sir. What's the solution now? I want to access this now. No, what's the
So where do you
solution?
access from?
No, it's the domain controller.
It's the domain controller.
Yeah. It's not letting me do that. There's a solution, but I want you to just, huh?
You have to take ownership of that.
Yes, take ownership. Ownership, that's it. Take ownership, and it's gonna let you do that. So right click the documents, properties. Right click the documents and property. Now this is really illegal. You cannot go ahead and see others' documents. Yeah. And this is what we're not supposed to do. But if suppose the user has actually left the company and they want their documents, so you need to now go. So security, advanced. Okay, again cancel. Security, advanced, and effective access. Right. Continue. So effective access, it used to be called take ownership. You do not have permission to view this object security properties as an administrative user. To try taking ownership of the object, which includes permission to view its properties, click change above. Oh, okay, yes. So effective access, when we continue, it still says, hey, come on, stop. What are you doing? Then we say click change, unable to display current owner. So when we click change now, everyone sees that? Click change. So then who wants to take over this folder? Netplus admin. But if it's always good to do that after approvals. Otherwise, if you're caught in writing,
You have to take back again.
or
Yeah.
if you're sneaking in, then put it back as well. Remove yourself again from, and just do it properly then. Although the log files, or if this folder is being audited as well, we did auditing, right? You'll be like, gone before even we know. But if auditing is on here, which we did in last lab, right? If not, then you're the administrator. Actually, you will be putting the auditing as well. So when you click change and add that Netplus admin, now you see replace owner on subcontainers and objects. So this is how you forcefully take ownership of some document where even administrators are denied, which is, there's a reason. These are users' private documents, right? But of course, then there's always a scenario that, okay, when you click replace, that's it, apply. You do not have permission to read blah 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 blah. All permissions will be replaced if you press yes. Yes. If you have just taken ownership of this object, you will need to close and reopen this object's properties before you can view or change permissions. Press OK, that's it. When you click change and take ownership, effective access, press OK and OK. Now are you able to open this?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's pretty secure. And second users, I did not go through that, so permission denied again, which is good. I should not be doing that, but it's not recorded that, if you have the proper rights, what you can do is take effective access, which used to be known as take ownership.
Now,
Ownership.
User 01 doesn't have access to document.
Now user 01 doesn't have. Hey, very good, because we just took over. We are the effective owner now. So if I go to server 2, let me just quickly do that to server user 2 actually, because I'm on user 2 there now. Effective access, security, advanced, effective access, continue, change, net plus admin, replace, apply. See, that was so simple. Okay. Change ownership of, okay, come on, move it, yes, you. Ugh. I like to move it, okay. God, man. Who like to move it? Move it. Oh, no. Madagascar, yeah. Yeah, I have to see all those kid movies as well.
Thousands.
Couple of million times the same thing.
Same thing.
Again and again. Okay.
They fight,
Huh?
you just start fighting. When they sing, they start singing.
So press OK. So I can access now. If I go to the users area and F5, the user back there now doesn't have access anymore. So very good that you tested that as well. When we are taking ownership and we forgot to do other steps and we took the ownership and went away, other day there will be a call, hey, I cannot access, and the guys who know why this error comes will catch us. Okay, so that's for folder redirection. Yes, Mr. Raj. What happened?
Some reason didn't work.
So we need to,
Okay, I'll figure it out and get going.
and the video is recording, so we're gonna repeat that at home as well. Are we repeating that the previous videos as well? Oh, kinda. Yes. Okay, that is good.
We have, so this experience I have that because of one of the users, they left from the hospital.
Okay.
This is like director admin.
Oh.
Admin, right? So I create the archives.
For him.
So I put it in the.
Oh, okay, that's good. But you did not
I don't.
go through it and open.
And another question. For example, if in a big enterprise or hundreds of computers, you have to go one by one and do this process.
No, this is
Redirect that.
group policy.
That's good policy.
That's it. Group policy means if it's 100,000 computers, 10,000 computers,
Group policies.
it implements on everyone. Because we implemented on the top actually. This is, don't ever do this. Just create a new GPO, attach it to an OU, and those users will only get it.
By this scenario, for example, in different departments, we can have different
Yes.
redirect tasks. Accounting, marketing.
Exactly.
management.
So separate GPO for separate department. And definitely they would have different folders, definitely. Yeah. And it is pretty secure.
How do you have that? That's the question. Is that really secure?
From administrators, nothing is secure.
No,
So
but
other than that, yes, it is good. Unless you give, if end user is there and if he is really good in hacking, so even administrator can't do anything. But for normal end users, yes, from them it is very secure. God, man.
And if you don't move proper GPO,
Uh-huh.
if you don't move like the some are okay saying okay this computer you deploy a new PC virus on it, you deploy a new PC. If you don't move proper GPO, some other problems you will get.
Yeah.
You cannot enter printer
Yes.
and they cannot see any other information,
Yes, you're right.
right? So I have to use a proper GPO.
Yep, proper GPU to a proper OU, and those who really want this, give them facility that, yes, and it could get tricky, yes. Yes, sir. Mr. Adidas. Hey,
Oh, eh?
you're coming from.
You know, I was wearing something else. It
Oh.
was so cold outside, so I just
Yes. Oh, where's the last second?
yeah, I just
It's a shirt. So,
it's like a freezing.
I thought, yes,
What happened today?
welcome winter.
I know.
Wow.
hot is better than to be hot.
Yeah, but this time it's going to be hotter summer. They're saying already, it's going to be much hotter. Okay,
Where?
in the whole Canada, or the summer will be, as they're saying now, predicting. So,
Different hot summer?
yeah, hotter summer than before. That's okay, and that's not okay for him, but it's okay for you. But so some people will be complaining, some people will always be okay, and
You're
some.
always gonna complain no matter what.
It's human nature. So, okay, so after the weather report, yeah, we're coming back to our server 2. So, now let's give them all a printer, but this is, now we're going to go with preferences. And it's going to be not as strictly implemented, like you really need to a little, do a struggle to see that printer appearing there. But how, there are many features that preferences offer that policies don't offer. So we're going to see that now. We made available folder redirection, and at least now the users have a secured remote location which is totally being backed up, and antivirus is run and everything is secure on that server. So but what about printers? So if there are common printers, so if there are 50 users in one floor or 200 users in one floor, floors may be big, and there are two big not printers, and you just want to add those two printers to all those 200 users. So let's go ahead and back to our
Server 1?
yes, and server 1 in tools, group policy management,
So it's one or two.
server 1. Yeah, on the domain controller again, let's go there and to the group policy management. Here again, disclaimer should always be there that do not use this policy to experiment. It's only our private lab. In production, never ever use that for experimenting like this. Okay, so let's experiment now. Oh, okay. So edit, and now we want the users to have one printer showing in their profile, and we're just doing that because it's a lot of users and we cannot just go one by one to every user. So group policy again, and for that let's go to preferences here like this, and now we can see that the control panel options are here, and there's Windows setting as well here. So first of all, if we go to Windows settings here, it from the icons it looks like there it's some outside thing that has been imported there. It's not as professionally looking as the policies area is looking. So these are those scripts that have been so popularly adopted by big organizations that Microsoft had to just adopt, add them in their operating system as well. So we can do a lot here as well, but it offers some extra features as well. That's what we're going to see here. So let's go for way down. There's a printers here. So everyone sees that in the preferences. So user configuration, preferences, and then okay, I'm just gonna go for control panel settings and printers. So already, okay, I was just testing that, so I'm just gonna quickly delete that. So already we can see this Windows XP window here, or interface. It used to look like this. See how much it sucks. Oh, okay. So our memories. Okay, so printers, right click and new, and we need a shared printer. I'm just showing that now. We don't have a printer right now, right? Do we? So let's just create one printer, and the printer. So guys, do we have 3 machines or 2 machines right now? Two, right?
And a 1.
2.5, like 2.5 men, just like that episode. That's cool. Okay, so 2.5 machines. So one is Windows 8 and
2 servers.
and 2 servers. So we all have 3 machines? No,
I do.
or 2. You have 3? 2. So 2 as well, right? So okay, let's just go with 2. So we're gonna add a printer here in our domain controller, and then we're going to make this available for user 1 and 2. So and user 3 if you have. So it should be available for all the users whichever are in the Active Directory, right? Without us doing anything manually to those users. So for that, let's just create a make-believe printer here, just like in 7410 we did. So for that, on the server 1, on the domain controller, let's go to control panel with the Windows option, and then go for hardware like Z's, and then we can go for devices and printers. Now we can just add any random printer here. So add a printer. Everyone sees that? Add a printer? Yes. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. Everyone there? No. Everyone there? Hey, when are you giving the exam?
I'm still waiting for
Okay.
that. I asked her today, maybe.
Okay.
Still,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Voucher. So add a printer, everyone. So let's just go for a printer, and it could be any printer. So I'm just going for, if you see this searching option after you click add printer, the printer that what is it? The printer that I want isn't listed. So I was just reading it, I wasn't. Okay, anyway. So next. Now this screen should come for everyone, right? Okay, so we already don't have any printer, so let's just go for add a local or network printer. So add a local or network printer. Again, the printer that I want isn't listed, is coming. So yeah, since the next option is still there, so we can just click next option instead of waiting for it. Everyone on this screen? Yeah. Okay. So next. Now it's saying, hey, you want to add a printer? Yes. Okay, and add a printer using a TCP/IP address or host name. So we're adding a make-believe TCP/IP printer. So we're gonna keep it like that. And next, device type is TCP/IP device. I'm just going for that. device type TCP device. Then host name or IP address, we're just gonna give a new IP address here, 192.168 200 dot whoa, huh 5. Okay, we didn't use 5, so 5. And query the printer. No, don't query the printer. Everyone did that? Yes. Okay, next. Now it's detecting the printer, which it's not gonna find, so we're gonna just say it's a brother printer, or you know, uncle printer, or no, there's no uncle company, sister printer.
Sorry, what was the host name?
192.168
Mhm.
100.5.
Any, and we could just go for any HP printer, or you know. Oh brother. Okay,
Oh, brother.
but those are good printers as well.
Brother?
Yeah, Japanese. No, color, and they're cheaper.
No.
That's going up. Which ones are the best one? Canon. No? Okay. Hospital. Canon is good. Yeah.
But
HP also, you know, a lot.
Yes, but
Many. All right. So everyone sees that.
Yeah. You wanna go to the brother?
Oh brother. Yeah. So let's go to brother. Oh no, not here. Not here. Generate network card. So we're gonna keep on pressing next because it's just a network card.
Brother first one?
Now, oh brother. So it's here, and we can just oh, there's Canon as well. Woohoo! Yeah, we're doing a shopping here, right? So oh, Canon. No, we cannot say that. So because I already have a brother printer, so let's just go for Canon. Inkjet or LaserJet. We can do all the market. Just select the first one and double click that, and printer name is like this, right? Whatever is the first one. Next, installing printer. At least it installs the drivers here, and there you go. So location
Toronto.
beside that bar guy and the kitchen. Okay, and okay, yeah, it's in Toronto HQ. Okay, you don't have to write the whole thing, but comments, that guy never quits. So let's be very professional here. So that guy never quits. Okay, next. So yeah, we don't have to. Beside that bald guy in the kitchen. So
That guy.
you know, okay, it's pause, resume, and next. And set as a default printer, yes. And if you want to print test page to that ghost printer, so click finish. So here it is, Canon inkjet. So let's make it available for user 1 2. So how do we do that? Minimize. So we are still in that, on that group policy editor, are we? Yes.
Yeah.
Here. So now let's just add that printer. So printers, right click, new. Everyone there? Yeah. Okay. So oh guys, again.
VIP, right?
No. Let's just still minimize it. Oh, I just forgot one more thing about that brother. Oh no, it's not brother. Canon printer. So let's just go to Canon printer once more. Revisit that like this. Double click. When you double click, this screen for that printer opens. And minimize whenever you're going away. Just minimize. Don't close any screen, right? So everyone, this screen. So it's when you double click, this screen opens. So printer and properties. When you go to sharing, list it in the directory. That has to be checked. By default, it is not checked. Active Directory does not know yet. Now, when you search throughout anywhere, this printer will show up, right? So it is shared already with this name, Canon inkjet, and it's listed in the directory. That is a must, right? Apply. Okay, now when we go back, so minimize anything, don't close anything, right? So list in Active Directory is the one thing that we have done. So I'm just gonna go back to that same screen like this and right click, and this time we really are going ahead. So shared printer, because it is shared, right? The first top one. When we go to shared printer, there is this window that opens. So new shared printer properties. update, create, replace, and delete. So let's delete it. No, just kidding. So update, we could have replaced it. Create means which the printer is not yet installed.
Oh, okay.
We already installed it, so we're just going for update that, yeah, we're updating that this information now. So share path now. Where is that printer? We can go to these three dots and actually search it now, right? So search. Do you already see two printers here or one printer here? One, okay, because I already had the other one. So Canon is there, right? So just double click or select an OK. Double click. Yes, set this printer as a default. Only if a local printer is not present. Well, there is no local printer there, so it's a default printer right now. And this is not all. The preferences area is this common tab as well. The preferences offer this, policies don't. Now let's go to common and visit some of the things that it can do. So once we make any service available like that, so when you go to common, it has stop processing items in this extension if an error occurs. So processing just means that make that printer available, but if there is any error occurring related to this group policy, so just stop making it available until we figure out that error, right? So if we want that automatically happen, otherwise errors come and go. Sometimes it's a glitch and it is recorrected, or sometimes the service is restarted, so we don't have to press that. Run in logged on user security context, user policy option. So logged on, if we have related any service account to that, then it's going to require that with higher privileges, but this is not our scenario right now. Remove this item when it is no longer applied. Suppose you remove that printer altogether, it's not pingable, it's not detecting anymore, so it's going to just, or if the policy has been removed, just remove that item as well, right? If the policy has been removed, apply once and do not reapply. That also is just specific scenario. What I'm going for is item level targeting. What is this? So let's click that and item level targeting, and let's just go to targeting here. So when we go to targeting, see, so many options here. Oh, okay. Now when you click new item, you see a lot of options here. It's a huge, long, not huge, okay, long drop down list. So what it says here, what is the criteria which I should search and then make that printer available to those computers or users? So should I go for some specific computer name that you want that printer to be available, or CPU speed? If they're all i7s, then I should just make it available for them, or if okay, yeah, or if the disk space is really out for those computers where there's zero disk space left. No, just joking. So domain, if the domain name, or so these are the criteria that we can give to search for that computer and automatically provide this service to those computers. But this is a huge criteria. You can just go for IP range as well, right?
Yeah, so it is an IP range. That means like all the buildings.
So IP range. Suppose the whole building has subnets, but if the whole building has just one range, plain range, then don't go for that. Then plan, right? So the printer is just on floor 1 and you have 10 floors. You cannot give to the floor number 10 guy access to floor number 1 printer. Even if he prints, that is just sending papers and that guy is never coming down. I mean, we are all lazy, right? Oh, okay, not all, especially me, I'm lazy. So yes, IP range, if floor 1, floor 2, maybe it's limited area. But if it is not that, then of course. So let's just check the IP range. Does it even work, right? But you have to really plan that. IP range, or I would just go for domain, but also IP range if we have smartly created scopes for every subnet. IP address range. So what is our IP address range? So we can just type here now 192 dot. Oh, we have to remove those. 192.0 remove 168.0 hey, anyone can have it. So our first one already have it, so 1 up to what, 5 1 up to 4. So 192, seriously, that's a okay. 192, 168, 200, 4. Okay, fifth is actually the name of the IP of the printer itself. So our server 2 is in this range. That's all we need. Okay, press OK if you put the range here. We can have add a collection here as well, item options here as well, is or is not. So it really covers preferences, really can search for you if there are thousands of machines. It can search for you a specific criteria, but only give it to these type of machines. Don't give that service to any other. So item level targeting is only available in preferences. Even if you're going for power options, specifically for your, the monitor screens, they're always on all night and the bill is coming really huge for electricity. So you want those screens to be off, or your power options for your desktop.
But they are not on the network.
They are not on the network. So how do we do that? How do we check the power option screen for the monitor screens here on the desktop machines?
But it's controlled by your PC, right?
It's
Even
not only
though
for
they are
PC.
not in the-
So desktop power options, we can go there and turn off the screen there, right? So desktop PC option does do that. Or you can create another item level targeting whichever laptops are there with this configuration. Just go for that, right? So it's really granular in that. Okay, once the range is given, press OK, and let's check it out. Apply general. Well, general, press OK, and there's that Canon inkjet.
Yellow triangle.
And if we just do that, it's
Driver.
okay. Yeah, the drivers are not there. So we made a change. We know what to do now. Refresh a couple of million times. Close the editor, and we implemented this on the default domain policy, which is a no-go area in a production environment. Never ever do that here. Okay, now of course we need to again put that GP update /force GP update /force. And press yes. Okay. And what am I doing here? Login. And so, well, this was just a domain controller. We're gonna check it for user 1 and 2, right? So server 2, we did not have that printer before. So on server 2, I'm going to log off and log off on server 2 and logging in from user 01, other user 01. Where do we go and check that? Applying group policy, printers policy. It says that while logging in. Recyclable bin, blah blah blah. Documents is corrupted. Do you want to empty the recycle? Yeah, whatever. So user 1 has logged in from server 2, and when we go to control panel on server 2 and go to hardware, go to devices and printers, so it's right there in Canon. Woohoo! On server 1. So I'll just log in from user 1 and log into user 2. Obviously it should be there, but it's always good to check it out. So other user 02. Okay, it says there right away briefly that applying printer policy, and then obviously should be control panel and hardware, device or printers. So Canon there. Okay, we got it. So this means that every user, if there are 200 users, we don't have to go one by one. Just deploy that printer there. But if we double click this printer from user 1, yes, we can just use it. We don't have to go through any extra steps to do anything. just start using it. By that, I would, if I just want to open Microsoft WordPad, and the printer should just show there, or I could just put this printer as set as default printer like this. If the printer appears, set as that as a default printer, and there you go. It will appear in. It will anyway appear in the in every Word document or any document, not Word. So, Dinesh is so excited. Yes, sir. Result is, you always just nod, and I understand from that somehow. Right? Okay. Does that means okay? So, Mr. Raj, I think you have to disjoin and join from the domain the server too, I
I
guess.
think that's why.
Yeah, it's not reaching. So this means if you follow all the steps, if you disjoin and join, it will work right away. It should. So, and firewalls, try to check that as well. So these two policies have been implemented. We talked about preferences as well as policies. And okay, there are direct access topic. There are some other topics that are left that we're going to be doing in the coming 2 days. Otherwise, today was the last. My check is 1 week further now. Okay, seriously, did I say that? No. Whew. Okay, pretend you never heard that. Okay.
He wasn't even here.
It's recorded. Okay, so yeah, let's just go ahead now and try a more seriouser thing. Seriouser, right? Which is, there's a new feature called, actually there are two new features, Active Directory cloning and Active Directory snapshot. So these are your survival skills as a system administrator in the company. Well, we're done with that, right? So, Matthew, results? Cool, 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 cool. Man, you always nod, which is suspicious. So, so Mr. Raj is trying that now, right? And Mr. Trinesh, what about you, sir? You're trying as well, sir. Okay, sir. It's good, sir.
Yeah.
Good. As long as you're trying and you're not giving up, yes. Go ahead. Go for it. Okay, so this is kind of duty done. Preferences, and there are some other features that I'm going to be still talking about in group policy. Group policy is a huge topic, you know. Okay, that was a huge topic. So, but we're gonna these are two labs that I wanted quickly to wrap up some of the preferences topic. We need to still talk about administrative templates and stuff. But before that, there's that DNS related topic that is in the exam objective, as well as is definitely a job objective. We haven't touched just DNS, and there are many features in DNS that we need to know. There are many areas in DNS that we need to know, because that DNS, on DNS, the whole Windows environment depends. All Exchange server, any SharePoint, any server. If our DNS is not correct and we don't know the areas of DNS, where to go and what to troubleshoot, we're gonna be really in big trouble. So, understanding DNS. DNS is the naming service used by TCP/IP networks. We know that it resolves host names to IP addresses and IP addresses to host name, translates URLs to IP addresses. Early TCP/IP networks performed name resolution using host files. Anyone knows what's a host file?
Yeah.
What is the purpose and where is it located?
System 32, Windows, etc. drivers.
Yes. And okay, let's just visit the old version of very old version of DNS, right? Thank God there is no one old here, because
Use that before the DNS.
yeah. So there in Humber class, there's one guy who's actually old. So whenever I say old, he's like like this. He's saying, I'm like, oh, I didn't refer to you. Come on, man. He made me so conscious now. Whenever I say about to say old, I just stop and I have no alternate word for that. Many moons ago.
Previous version.
Previous. Hey, thank you. From now on, I'm really conscious now. So 2 times he said, okay. What? So anyway, let's just go ahead now and talk about well, if we should know host, this is one of the survival skill as well, survival knowledge actually. Sometimes DNS doesn't work, so we should know where's the host file and what does it really do. So on server 1, on any server actually, on any Windows machine, where is the host file? So C drive, Windows, and drivers. So again, C drive, any machine, maybe on server 2 and server 1,
Drivers.
C, Windows,
ETC.
etc, exactly, Windows,
Yes, system 32 or system
yeah, system 32, and then etc. So it's not in drivers, right?
It's in the middle.
Oh, it is in drivers, okay. So when we go to drivers, there's nothing.
Nothing there.
It
So
should be a Windows system.
Windows system. So no, let's refer to our, wiki. Okay, not WikiLeaks, just Wikipedia, right? Yes, sir. What was the path for that?
System 32 Windows.
System 32, exactly. Oh, sorry. Yeah. System 32.
ETC.
etc. ET. Oh, and
Oh, sorry, it was drivers and ETC.
yeah, drivers here. So I was already going to drivers. Yes, etc. That is host. That is like whenever I wanted to, go to this file, I would just Google it.
Drivers.
Where's the path to the host file?
The drivers.
Okay. So no, here. So Windows System 32.
Hold on one second.
Yep.
Coming to Windows.
Yeah. System 32
System 32.
and data etc. So what is the host file anyway? If we double click the host file, yeah, you're there. Okay, cool. If we double click the host file and open with Notepad, double click the host file, the hosts file, and double click and Notepad. So this appears. So what is going on? If you want to open any server by name and somehow you cannot reach any server by name. Suppose server 3 is a file server, and whenever a user types / server 03, it's not opening. So then you run ipconfig flush DNS register DNS, it doesn't work. And then you run ipconfig flush DNS on the client side as well as the server side, it doesn't work. So then on the client PC, you can actually go to the host file and tell that, hey, there is server 0. Whenever the client types server 03, just go to 192.168. Suppose the IP address, whatever the IP address is, .3 here. So when we put this, then the client machine does not go to the DNS through the DNS and go to server 3. Instead, it first checks the host file records. Host file says, hey, server 3, you want to go? / server 03, yes. Then its IP address is 192.168.203, and at once the server 3 opens. So suppose if there's a DNS problem, DNS issue, that by name, by writing a name, you cannot access a resource. Then you go to the host file, which it always checks first to reach a named resource. So it goes to the host file and checks, oh, okay, it's there. Yeah, I don't have to go to DNS and through DNS then go to server 03. Locally, my host file is telling me the IP address there, so I can connect right away, easily. So host file is where DNS is not, working properly, and by name you cannot access that resource, right? So one more hack for home is your kid is going to that one site so much. So maybe that site is, Roblox. My kids just go to that. That Roblox is a game site, online game site. So I could just go there in host file of that computer and just put here 0.0.0.0 or any wrong IP address, but wrong IP address might lead to some wrong site actually. Maybe that IP address is actually there, but not public IP. We can just go for private. But if you just put this with the site name here, roblox.com, actually, they go there.
Then they Google the IP address.
They're 3, 5, and 10. So for now, they don't. They're just.
They have a network as a folder.
So I'm like, you. No, when they're like older, they're gonna crack every technique of mine. I can already see that. They're already going to Google and I'm like, whoa, man, look at your age. So star dot, I would effectively want to block some site which is really you don't want your kid to go. Star dot that website name and 000. So host file will not let your computer or browser go to DNS and reach that site. Host file will first say, whoa, wait. This site name, no. It's a no-go.
You put a Facebook.
Yes, Facebook 000. It should not open in that particular computer. So,
But you delete this part.
okay.
You delete
Obviously, then there will be no emergency local name resolution alternative will be gone. Otherwise, it's already empty. It's doing nothing here. But if it is doing something and somebody knows that somebody else did that, so they can just go there and remove this entry only, and you will be able to. Otherwise, on that site, you can block effectively a lot of sites on that particular machine. But that's for just for home. Okay, don't save. So this is the host file that we wanted to check. Let's just go back here to the slide. Host file stored locally on each computer. So early TCP/IP networks performed name resolution using host file. Now we know where's the host file and what else we can do with the host file, right? Okay, then benefits of DNS. Some of the areas that we really want to touch for DNS, the very crucial areas. As a system admin, you should know. So benefits are ease of use and simplicity, scalability. Yeah, those words. Consistency. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's just go with the actual facts. So understanding DNS names and zones. FQDN. We know what is FQDN. Do we know what is FQDN?
Fully qualified.
Domain name. An example would be server01 dot netplus-domain dot local. So true or false? Netplus-domain dot local is an FQDN.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. No. Fully qualified domain name.
No.
The example is here. It's a domain name, but fully qualified domain name is also includes a host as well.
Host.
Okay. It's like
Because it's not
So
local.
computer 1 represents an FQDN, right? Computer 1 host is located in the sales domain, which is located in the Microsoft second level domain, which is located in so the full address, right, is called FQDN. Which machine is hosting that, or which is part of that is also added. So when we join a machine to a domain, we do not write FQDN, we just write domain name itself, not the FQDN. So okay, if we go this, what does this tell you? Okay, this is so basic. I mean, like
No. Flashbacks to college.
flashback. But what does it tell us now?
Tells you-
The top level domain, the second level domain, the third level domain. So top level domain is root, the dot itself, and then the first level domain is there anything .com, .edu, .gov, .au. It could be a country, AU or .ca, country, government, and education. It could be, and then the second levels are these: Microsoft, Intel, Contour. So third level are if you have a child domain, Toronto netplus-domain.local, and then fourth level is server1.toronto.netplus-domain.local. Child domains first server. So there are all those. There's a hierarchy that is called hierarchy, right? So DNS terms are. So did we ever create a resource record before? What is a resource record in DNS? Resource record. Okay.
You mean like an A?
Okay. Now, yeah. So what is the resource record? Oh, okay. So, yeah.
It basically
A record. Yeah. You were saying?
Yeah, the A record is going to be forwarded and points to the host.
Exactly. And there are many other resource records. Let's just try to quickly visit that in our domain controller. What is a resource record? And we have been dealing with that in our labs, and you will be dealing it in your environment as well. So if we go to on server 1, we go to tools and we go to DNS. So on server 1 we go to tools and we go DNS. So where are the resource records? First of all, this is the DNS on the top level. Now we have two, forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. Forward lookup zone is resolving host names to IP addresses. Reverse lookup zone is resolving IP addresses to host names. But when we go inside, Windows is concerned with forward lookup zone. If forward lookup zone is properly configured, Windows is working fine. Exchange server, any other SQL server or SharePoint, any other server is working fine and collaborating. Forward lookup zone has to be configured properly. So if we go inside the netplus-domain.local, now you can see here SOA. Okay, hang on, it's just A. So SOA is a start of authority, which is the DNS server that is authorizing all these names and is accepting all the queries against that. Then there is a name server, which is server 1. Now there's a host A record here. So this is a resource record. This is not the only record we can create here. So what is host A record anyway? Name and IP, right? Name and IP of a machine. So now if we right click here anywhere, now you can see a lot of types of resource records appearing here. New host A record or AA. AA is for IPv6 related machines, and single A is for just IPv4, which we're using. What is CNAME? It's a simple name you can give to a very difficult named machine. So suppose we have server 2, or if server 2, when the client say we have server 2, server 3, server 4 that is running our applications, then the client say, okay, we don't understand what is running on that. So can you make it more clear for us? Then when we want to access these servers, they should the name should tell the purpose of the application. So maybe the application is a print server. So I can also create a canonical name or CNAME or alias for that server as print server. So if I click, so let's right click here and go to new alias here, like this, resource record. It says here new resource record, and alias, it's asking, hey, what kind of alias you want and for which already created server you want that alias. So I'm saying print server 01. So it says print server, it automatically completes the FQDN for that, fully qualified domain name as print server 1 dot netplus-domain.local. That's the FQDN for that. So but it's saying, okay, print server 1, but who do you want to name as print server 1? Yeah, so we're here in forward lookup zone, and then netplus-domain.local. There, and yeah, right click anywhere and CNAME. So when we type here print server 1, so suppose our server 2 is actually print server, but we named it from the start server 2. We don't want to rename it now. So but for some users, if they want to access print server 1, they can just type print server 01 and it's gonna open this print server anyway. So now I typed here print server 01, the FQDN is this. Let's just attach it to server 02. So for that, what we need to do, either we can type it directly or we can just click browse. So browse. Now what do you see here? Server 01. Everyone sees that?
Yeah.
Server 01. So which DNS server? Double click. Then forward lookup zone of that DNS server. Yes. Then which domain name? Of course, our domain name here. netplus-domain.local. Okay, now it's which server name here? Server 2. So suppose it's server 10 there in your environment. Suppose it's a very weird name some earlier administrator gave, and you want it to be a proper name there. Don't rename it, but tell the users, if you type server 01 or print server 01, you will still reach that same server. So server 02, press OK, and allow authenticated users. Yeah, all active users will only use it, but you don't have to check that if you don't want to, or you can press OK. I'm not doing that. So print server 01 is also the name for the same server, server 02. Press OK. It it appears as an alias or a second name. But if we ping print server 01, does the same IP address come here to 200.2 now? So refresh here, right click, refresh, refresh again. So if I go to PowerShell or command prompt, whichever, and ping on server 1 or server 2, yep. So print, was it print or printer? Printers, print server 1, print server 01. When I ping, it goes to the correct IP address. So it is redirecting. So we have given a much clear name to a vague name, server 02, which did not show us what is the purpose of that, right? So when you ping it, it should give the IP address of the correct server, 200.2, right? Right? Okay. Oh, easy, right? Yes, Matthew, you're there? Okay. So if you backslash and put print server 02, does the shared folders of server 2 open for that? If you backslash, if suppose we want to see the shared folder of server 02, so we can ping print server 01, oops, yeah, and it goes to the correct server 02 IP address here. But if we go backslash, so if I go to run here, run, and backslash, it's just an alias. It's not exactly, you know, the host name. So if we go for print server 01 and press enter, yes, it opens the shared folders of or the, you know, but let's just make sure they do open the shared folders. So print server 1 opens and it's empty because we did not create a shared folder in server 2, right? If I go to server 2 directly, just making sure that yes, there was no shared folder here. So print server 1 opens the share folder. You can actually use that name instead of server 2 for anything, either connecting over the shared folders or pinging that server, making sure, but your end users will be happy that, okay, print server, we just know print server 01, but you as a system administrator know that it's your server 02 that has been aliased as print server 01, right? Okay, so this is a resource record for CNAME, but DNS, yeah. Oh yeah. Breakfast. 8:58. 8:51. Okay. Countdown begins. Oh, it's finished. Okay. So yeah, let's keep going, and thank you for that. Okay. So okay, right click and resource records. So there are many resource records here that we can use for different purposes. Mail exchanger record is another resource record, and that's for exchange servers. If you really want there's a huge traffic going on to exchange servers, and you want to create a MX record. This is actually called MX record, resource record. When we right click again to the same area again where we created the alias. So there's that mail exchanger record here as a resource record that normally we create it outside in the, you know, in the website. So suppose there's a CNN.com website and they have in their company an exchange server. So we will create an MX record on the CNN website, which would be with the domain name mail.cnn.com, and we have to specifically mention that MX record. What is the MX record? So if we click the MX record here, let's see what's inside here. There's that host or child domain name, domain. So we can actually put here, if we are inside the network, we can redirect that traffic to exchange server by just putting the name of the exchange server. So suppose now server 2 is an exchange server. Before it was print server, now it's a server 2 suppose it's exchange server. So I could just say exchange server 01, or the first exchange server is actually our server 2. So then it's going to again ask, okay, which actual server you want to point it to. So if anyone wants to access exchange server, so browse, again the same thing, I'm just reaching to server 02, but the purpose here is that when Outlook, Microsoft Outlook is trying to open, and it needs to know, hey, where's that exchange server 1? So if we put an MX record here that is pointing to server 2, so it could use this name, Outlook can use this name as well to connect to that Exchange server or email server, right? So we can create an MX record here. In our lab, we did not do that, but we can do that. Normally, MX record is used for outside traffic to be redirected to our company Exchange server. So suppose, as I was saying, if there's a CNN employee who opens Outlook at home and he is connected, his computer is connected to internet. So Outlook is configured in a way that it's going to connect to the mail.cnn.com website. There, if MX Exchange record is there, MX record will have an IP address of the company Exchange server. So as soon as the CNN employee Outlook application hits the mail.cnn.com, the MX record at once tell, oh, it's this guy wants to open an Outlook. So MX record shows the IP address of the company Exchange server. So from anywhere around the planet, mail.cnn.com, if you go there, if it's the legit employees, then the authentication happens on the, when it reaches the firewall. But MX record just points, hey, your company Exchange server is in US while you're sitting in wherever, London or wherever. So MX record normally we are using outside mainly, but here we can use inside as well. If there's a huge traffic going on for looking for Exchange server, you can create MX records for all Exchange servers that, hey, this is our Exchange server and this is the other name we are giving it here. So we can just press OK here, and this is a
What's the exact difference between Exchange MX and CNAME? It's just Exchange, nothing else.
okay. So MX record is specifically redirecting email traffic,
Just
Outlook traffic to Exchange servers. CNAME
the
is
concept is
close because the creation is exactly the same, right? Like the creation way is. So, but the thing is that it says when creating a mail exchange record, you can specify a host or child name, but in most deployments, the above field is left blank here. The main thing is that we are referring traffic to Exchange environment only. So MX record, if the Outlook traffic is there, MX record will pick that up. Hey, I'm the Exchange server one. So Outlook, if you're connecting to that, so I'm going to tell you where's the Exchange server now. Any other traffic, it's not going to care about MX record. It's designed that way. It is meant, purposes for Exchange servers. So, but the other CNAME, what is the purpose of CNAME? You can give easier names, understandable names to any of the vague named servers. Server 2 does not show anything, right? So does not tell anything that what is the purpose of server 2. So we can just give here what maybe you installed it as a print server, maybe you installed it as a web server or any other server, file server. You can just give very easy name for the clients to understand, right? So you don't have to actually rename the actual server name, but you can create a second name for the same server. The second name would be so easy to understand that the users will say, okay, yes, I want to connect to my print server, and this is the name, print server 1. I can remember that always for end users, right? So that's the difference. Okay, 2 minutes to break. Okay, so there is that. Then we talked about resource records and top level element. About resource record, one more thing. Here, when we right click here, other new records. If we go there, then there's a whole list of all types of resource records that we really need to do our homework first on and then introduce. So these resource records are just offering unique type services here. So this means if we really know what each resource record does, then we can implement that. So for example, SRV record, this is very, very, most used record in DNS. What does it say here? Service location, right? SRV resource record. We can create one, but automatically it is created. So if you want to expand netplus-domain.local and go to sites here, and then go to default first site name here, go to TCP. Now you can see all the service location record, SRV records, right? SRV record is responsible for what? it's just giving you the location of the service location. The name says it all, right? So global catalog service is where? On server 1. Kerberos service, the authentication service, where? On server 1. LDAP service to access the Active Directory information is where? On server 1. So location of the service. So if you have a domain controller and DNS on a child domain in a branch, London branch, New York branch, so SRV records are responsible for the clients to not go to Toronto servers for any service. SRV records will tell the New York users, hey, your global catalog is here in New York, your Kerberos is here in New York, your LDAP is here. So they're not gonna let the traffic go outside over the WAN to access the servers of Toronto. SRV records are just telling the local clients, hey, your server is locally available here, don't go over the WAN to access those servers. Okay, break time. Woohoo. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause that and we're gonna continue, and we're gonna go for so there are two types of queries here, recursive and iterative.
Okay.
What is the difference? Recursive and iterative query. So recursive is that a client asks to be connected to some website, some outside your URL, or inside some web server URL or FQDN. So the client wants to access another server by name, and the primary DNS says, okay, you want to access by name. I don't know web server 22. I don't have that. So I'll forward it to the second DNS server here, but that's all. The second DNS server will say, oh, I'm programmed to do recursive queries. So this means if I have it, I'm gonna give you the record. I'm gonna say it is, otherwise you get an error and you don't get connected. I'm not gonna search further for you. That is recursive query, that if I have the record, okay. If I don't have the record, sorry. I'm not forwarding this request to anyone else. But then there is an iterative query here. And that's how our DNSs work normally across the internet. That there's an iterative query here that I want to connect to, okay, some weird website or okay. Do anyone have any in mind any weird website name? Okay, weird website name. So weirdwebsite.com, maybe that's the name, right?
Yeah, maps.google.com.
Maps.google. So suppose you want to go there. So the local DNS server will say, okay, I don't know, suppose this is the first time in the network somebody tries to access that URL. So DNS, your local DNS will not have that record, right? So if it is configured for iterative query, so primary DNS will go across the internet. So it will say, hey, I don't have the record, but don't worry, I'm gonna go to the last level to find that out for you, right? So DNS then goes over the internet forwarder. It is forwarding this request to your ISP DNS, your ISP, whichever you're connected to. ISP DNS goes ahead to the then the root hints. So there's a new terminology called root hints. What is root hints? These are the top level servers that will tell you. So suppose there's the user is looking for CNN.com for the first time in this network, and the local DNS never had to help to get this website open for the client before. So CNN.com, it's going to go for the root hints for the top root servers. Then root servers say, oh, CNN.com, I know those servers which deal with .com domains. Anything .com, they will search for you. So it goes to the other servers, and then those servers says .com. Yes, we are the .com servers, and we can tell you which .com you want to know. Oh, CNN.com. Okay, then it forwards that query to the CNN servers, the servers that are hosting the CNN website and everything. So then the CNN website is opened for the client here. So if there's any other new website, Facebook.com. Again, if it's the first time in that network, the primary DNS would not know that. It would go to the root hints first, top servers. Then the root hints say, oh, it's still a .com. So okay, let me just forward this request to the .com servers, and the .com servers will finally open that Facebook.com website for us. The search does happen in the background, but in like this, milliseconds, microseconds, nanoseconds, or whatever other measure of unit is.
Where do you DNS server are located?
Which server? DNS servers are located in big data centers across US and Europe, and they are just responsible for DNS queries
For
only.
example, if these Rogers connect us to those. and
Rogers, exactly. Rogers will connect it to those. There are, well, 3 years ago until then, I used to hear that there are like 9 big data centers that are hosting a huge amount of DNS servers. 13, exactly. 13 big, data centers hosting just the DNS servers. Well, other servers as well, but major DNS servers queries are going through those 13 big. So if I go to the root hints now, let's go to DNS, our domain controller here, and this is the DNS server. If I go to magnifier here, okay, now if I go to right click our server name, let me just check it out first. Yep, so there are the root hints. You can see these IP addresses here. These are public IP addresses, and these are those root servers that our DNS is by default configured to go to and check for any website that it cannot find for us, right? So there are root hints already. Root hints are already added to our DNS server by default. That is going to take the search to the internet to the highest level, as you said. Okay, thank you. So these are 13 servers here, and these will be the top level servers that are going to let us search any website across the net. They're going to help us do that, and we're not supposed to touch those or delete those, edit those addresses, these addresses here, because there's a top level. And
why do they add the edit remove? I don't understand that. If you go on the bottom, this shouldn't be touched.
it's recommended not to be touched, but sometimes the administrators or the company even says that, hey, no searches in this company for any kind of new website or anything. We're gonna just let employees access only 2 or 3 websites across the internet. So even the search capability is gone, right? Many companies actually do that because of the productivity issue, that users are connected to all kinds of weird websites and stuff. So there could be many other scenarios where your company would not want the DNS servers to search for each and every website, so they don't want those root hints to be there. But anyway, they're there, and we need to know, we needed to know why they're there, to look for any website you want. If it exists on the internet, these servers are going to help you get those websites, right? So if you go ahead a little, so that's the iterative query. Iterative query. Okay, anyway, so it's going to search for you everything that is it's going to go to the last level to search for you. So then there were primary zone, secondary zone. So difference between primary zone and secondary zone was, primary zone is read and write, secondary zone is read only copy of the, it's the slave. So slave, okay,
Yeah, use a master and slave.
master and slave.
Linux DNS.
Oh, okay. No, but it's a read only copy, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's limited to
Yeah, it can't
huge,
push updates.
yeah, push updates. Okay, cool. So forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zone, we already know that username, it resolves hostname to IP address and IP address to hostname. But I'm just going for the trying to fly towards the most important topics here. There are primary name servers, and then there are secondary name servers. When we talk about name servers, a server can host all primary zones, all secondary zones, or a mix of primary and secondary zone. If I go to my domain controller here, in the same window here, actually not the same window, if I close that and go to forward lookup zone, I just wanted to, no, sorry, to my domain name here and properties, there are the name server tag here, tab. So if we right click the domain name here, netplus-domain.local, there's that name servers tab here. So this is just giving us all those DNS servers we have in our environment, which are containing the primary zone and the secondary zones, or just primary zones, secondary zones. Name servers just are, if you have a second DNS server, that DNS server will also appear here, in the name servers tab here. So let's go for some other, but they're just showing our DNS servers there, right? Active Directory integrate zone again. If you want DNS to integrate with the Active Directory and use the Active Directory topology, Active Directory topology just means that it replicates at certain intervals all the information across the WAN as well. So DNS can also replicate at the same time, or when the changes happen in the DNS through Active Directory topology, it can just send those changes to other servers as well. So DNS gets integrated with Active Directory as well, and this is Microsoft recommends it as the main way. When you're installing DNS on domain controller, you should just install it in that mode, Active Directory integrated mode, and by default we have installed it that way. So benefits of using Active Directory stored DNS: there's fault tolerance, security, and efficient replication. Active Directory gives the fault tolerance. You know what's a fault tolerance? It tolerates the fault. What fault are we talking about? If there are two domain controllers and both have DNS servers and both have Active Directory integrated DNS servers, so if first domain controller goes down, the second domain controller still has the DNS server, right? So DNS server goes on and it's working. So that's why it could tolerate the fault of crashing of one domain controller, right? So security is there, just like Active Directory offers the security, DNS is secure as well. Efficient replication, they replicate, both DNS servers replicate to each other because they are integrated to Active Directory, and when Active Directory replicates, DNS replicates too. Replication scopes, yes, it can just tell all the maybe there are more DNS servers in the child domain, maybe there are DNS servers in the forest, across the forest, so they can replicate to all the DNS servers. This is the scope of the DNS server. Configuring zone delegation. So a DNS subdomain is a child domain that is part of a parent domain and has the same domain suffix as the parent domain. So zone delegation is all about when you're creating a child domain, there's a DNS installed for that domain as well. But we have child domain is still a 7412 topic. Anyone knows what's a stub zone? Yes, yeah, correct. Okay, what else? Okay, just kidding. Stub zone. Okay, it's the definitions here. Exactly. Anyone else want to give a try? Okay, so oh, you're still giving it a try. So what is the difference between a primary zone and stub zone? So here there's a primary zone here, and how do we know it's a primary zone or the main zone? Or when we right click our domain, so let's right click our domain here and go to properties inside forward lookup zone. Now we see here that it's Active Directory integrated, written here, all DNS servers in this domain, data is stored there, dynamic updates, secure only, or that. It doesn't say that it is the primary zone, but it is not a read-only domain controller, so it is not a read-only domain controller zone. But if we want to check that, it doesn't say here, but you want to check it's the primary zone or the secondary zone. Can anyone tell me where to go on this screen?
You go to change,
Yes.
showing the first one is the primary zone.
Yes. Ruin the whole fun. I was gonna just okay.
Zone, subzone.
Yes. So which change are we talking about here? The replication change or this one? Type Active Directory integrated, right? Active Directory integrated. So this change, when we go there, primary zone, secondary zone, as you said. So primary zone is there, secondary zone. So it is, now we know that this one here is a primary zone. If we can select it as a secondary as well, but it is a read only. So Active Directory option is grayed out then.
Yeah.
If we go to primary zone, Active Directory option is again enabled, but we have to always keep it checked. But there is a stub zone as well. So what happens here is that if you have a small branch, you need stub zone only where you have a small branch and you do not want to install a full-fledged DNS server, and you just want a DNS server portion. You will still install DNS server, but you will select stub zone. Stub zone does not have a database of primary zone DNS server. This means stub zone does not have information about how many A records are there, how many servers are there, printers are there, or any machines are there. So stub zone is just a pointer. Hey, if there are 20 users or clients in that small branch, they want to connect to any server, they will go to the stub zone. Stub zone will say, oh, I don't have information about server 22 which you want to connect to now, but I have over the WAN, the nearest branch has a full-fledged DNS server. It's a primary zone DNS server, read and write copy. So I'm just going to point to that server. That server over the WAN will tell you where is server 22 right now. Stub zone is just a kind of a pointer, but it is more intelligent pointer. There is a dumb pointer here as well, which is called forwarder. We're going to come to that, but stub zone is just, it has the name server record, it has SOA, which we're going to go through as well, the start of authority record, and some glue A records, or they're calling it glue as well, but A records of some of the servers, but not all the servers across the domain. So stub zone is used for small branches where you don't want to install full-fledged DNS server. Okay. Quickly go to caching only servers. Anyone knows what is cache only server? So if you need cache, you want to have a loan. Oh, okay. So cache only servers just means, cache means what by word? Oh, what's the meaning of the word? Temporary what? Storage. So you want to locally store something, some information, you cache that information. Okay, but yeah, this one is permanent one. Although there could be some other ways that where we can just get rid of the cache as well. So cache only servers are also part of the exam objective as well, that if you want a DNS server to just remember sites. So DNS servers do what? When you access facebook.com, so DNS server will cache that information as well. When it first time gets that information for you, it caches that as well. Next time when you try to go, it does not go to the root hints and all the servers, and it just right away opens your website, right? Yeah. So cache only server only means that whatever website you're accessing, they're gonna cache it. Their only job would be to cache it, and they're gonna make those websites faster. But you don't have to install the whole DNS server and forward lookup zone for that. That's the only difference between a DNS server and a cache only server, that you don't have to install a primary zone there. They just remember sites and they open it for you very quickly. That's the only thing they do. They don't go for any new servers or you don't do an iterative query. Yeah?
It does remember what? So it remember the site. It remember what?
It remembers the www.cnn.com, the URL and IP of that. That's it. Yeah. So that's all the clients need to connect to, but they don't have to go and do an iterative query, which means, oh, I'm gonna go to the ISP DNS server. ISP DNS server will go to the root hint server. Root hint server will go to the .com domain. .com domain will go to the actual CNN.com domain. So it's not gonna go through all the search. It's gonna cache that information for the next time.
For example, some site like CNN, they always change their
IP address.
news, their news, their page.
Oh yeah.
Because of the news up and down. Does this system keep that
Actually,
settings, or just bring you, for example,
the URL.
someone come and use CNN 20 minutes ago and keep it on the cache server, yes?
Yeah.
But after 20 minutes, someone else comes and open CNN. That time it brings which one? That one or
The latest page. The latest page. That was just changed. So DNS is only concerned with IP address and names. That's all. What's on the page, DNS doesn't care about that.
How long these addresses stay there?
So how long? Unless we put a schedule there to remove all the cached information, or the schedule. Otherwise, it just stays forever until the hard disk is filled, which never happens. It's just very small information. But we always do. There is a maintenance also coming here that we do maintenance as well, and then cached information is also removed. But cache information is updated. Suppose CNN.com has 10 IP addresses. On 10 servers, the CNN.com is being hosted. Then CNN decides, hey, let's change all those IP addresses. So that's what DNS servers does and cache servers does. They then update themselves with the new IP addresses as well, and they keep the connection again up and running. So by default, we just don't see a difference even if they change their IP addresses as well. Cache only server. Okay, forwarding and conditional forwarding. So where is forwarders? So if I go to my domain controller here, again on the DNS server here, where's the forwarder option? So if I go to server 1 and go for properties here, now on server 1 in DNS server and properties, we see forwarders. But although there is no conditional forwarder written there, the conditional forwarder is somewhere else. We're going to go there as well. So forwarders are just blindly forwarding information. Oh, you want to go to the next hop? When I say next hop, do you understand what I mean? Next router. So next hop, just put that next IP address. So if I want all the traffic to be redirected to the second DNS server, maybe I want that all the traffic to be redirected for the internet, all the traffic to be redirected to my ISP, maybe it's Rogers. So Rogers DNS server IP address I might put here for faster internet access to all the websites. I could just put a forwarder here to the DNS server of New York branch. Maybe there are file servers there that the users here access always, every day, on day-to-day basis. So you could put the next IP address if you want the whole DNS traffic, internet traffic to be going there, or local traffic to be going there. So forwarders are normally, we already have route hints here. Use route hints if no forwarders are available, it says here, right? So it's going to internet and using route hints for any new website that we're asking. But if we specifically want that, hey, there should be one forwarder for our Rogers DNS as well. So then it will just go there to the next hop, and after that, whatever Rogers DNS do, very fast, it just quickly just opens those websites for you. So it is just an option. If you want to go even faster than that, you can just put your ISP's DNS server here in forwarder. It's a blind forwarder. It's just, hey, he went that way. But what is conditional forwarder? So forwarder is you put an IP address, it just takes you there. Whatever it forwards that traffic there, right? But conditional forwarder, first of all, what is this and where is it living there, and where is it available living? Okay, so if I go to forward lookup zone and click, no, sorry. See this? Conditional forwarder, it was just there. I was right clicking for no reason. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, condition forwarder is here, but it's a separate folder. So, as the name says, there has to be a condition to forward this traffic to some destination. What is that condition? So, suppose you have a huge traffic going to the sports.com website. Huge traffic. Okay, that's unproductive for companies, so that's a bad example. Huge traffic going to CNN.com? No, that's also unproductive. Maybe it's a news company. Okay, Google, best example. Huge traffic going to Google, and what happens is that it goes to the route hints, and then, or it goes to the cache server. First time it's going to go to the route hints, then it's going to go to the cache servers, caching information, and then get that. But you want to redirect all the traffic to Google when very fast. I mean, you don't have to go through any third servers or third DNS server for that. So you create a conditional forwarder for that destination. I want this traffic. Oh, this traffic is going to Google. Let me arrange those IP addresses for Google, 4 or 5 IP addresses, and put that name there as well. The conditional forwarder just means that condition is, oh, is this traffic going to Google? Then I'm putting a conditional forwarder here, and it's going to go faster to that website. So that's conditional forwarder, right? So you put it, maybe you want to create there is a child domain called newyork.netplus-70.local. So all the traffic wants to go there as well, a huge amount of traffic. So you can create a conditional forwarder for the DNS of newyork.netplus-domain.local plus their IP address. So this means that conditional forwarder is used for specific traffic to a specific website Forwarder is just a blindly forwarding everything. Oh, you want to go that way? I know, just next hop. That's it. Next IP address is this. Go. I don't care. Conditional forwarder. Oh, you want to specifically go to google.com? Yes, I have all the IP addresses available. I'm gonna take you even faster instead of the DNS letting you go through internet connection through root hints and everything. So conditional forwarder, if you go to a new conditional forwarder here, so if I right click the conditional forwarder and this, it opens like this, and what, google.com, if I type here, so I type the DNS domain name as google.com. So when I go to so if I ping Google, oops, .com, so there's the IP address 135.0.199.46. so I would just right click and copy that, and then go for and put that IP address here, 1.0.199.46. if you ping, maybe you get a different IP address, maybe, or anyone can ping google.com.
We can verify it.
Yeah,
Once you put it, it's attempting to resolve it.
yeah, attempting to resolve. So if we are connected to internet,
Yeah.
then only it will resolve to that. Because I got the IP address from outside my host machine, which is connected to internet, but I think our servers are not connected to internet, the virtual servers, so it's not gonna be able to resolve. But we are redirecting this traffic to this IP, which is a legit IP, and it's not gonna resolve. Of course, we are not connected to internet. As soon as we connect, it's going to, but it's going to add all the other IP addresses as well for google.com. if we select this, store this conditional forwarder in a directory, and so it's going to just try to check any other DNS server IP addresses here as well. The only purpose, again, conditional forwarder for a specific website, huge traffic, can access fast.
Mine is 135.0.199.32.
32. Yours is different. So it is just hitting that website which has different IP addresses, or so this means that different IP addresses it's hosted. If all of us ping google.com, our IP addresses will be different always, because it has so many. You're hitting some other server, I'm hitting some other server, right? So but conditional forwarder, again, for specific website, you want to redirect all the traffic to that, not redirect, you want to that traffic to access that fast, then you can just create a conditional forwarder. And it's not only for internet names, it's for our child domains as well, or any other local domain network as well, that you want these traffic, whenever they want, just go for conditional forwarder, it will access it faster. Okay, so because we cannot resolve it, so if I press OK, still it's going to accept that. So google.com conditional forwarder is there, but we can add any child domain there as well, which you can access fast, right? Okay, so we can go ahead. The conditional forwarder is so forward is blind forwarder, and conditional forwarder is that you can go specific URLs for specific traffic. Zone transfer. What is the meaning of zone transfer here? The initial transfer occurs when a secondary zone is created, the zone refresh interval expires, the DNS server service is started. So if I go back to my server here, DNS server, what is zone transfer? So we have a forward lookup zone here, and we can create a new zone here as well. Zone transfer is what?
Your primary, secondary, and subzone, right?
So if there are two DNS servers, they both have the primary zone, they can just do the zone transfer of all the information from one to other. But it happens automatically because it is Active Directory integrated zone. If we have without Active Directory zones, then we have to enable zone transfer. So I just want to show that area where we go and configure zone transfer in case your boss says, hey, we don't want, our company has a new policy now, we don't want Active Directory integrated zones. So we can go okay, not here, to properties of our netplus domain.local, and there is a zone transfer tab here. So when we go to zone transfer tab, we just need to know what it does, because in a job environment you would have to at least know what it does, and maybe in troubleshooting you have to enable that as well. So if Active Directory integrated zones are already there, so what happens is that already zone transfer is going on. If it is not using Active Directory replication, then when we right click Netplus domain .local here, and the tab zone transfer here, allow zone transfers. So this just means that we are enabling it manually to transfer zone information from one DNS server to another DNS server, right? So zone transfer to any server, only servers listed on the name servers tab, only to the following servers. So there is that separate lab as well for manually created DNS servers or non-Active Directory DNS servers. There's a separate lab for that, and Roger is very excited to do that lab. He's like, no, actually he understands everything, and many of the things are like
I know how to
done,
do it.
dude.
It's just the terminology.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Okay.
I'm being serious. I actually do know how to do it.
No, not this, but you know, there are many new things coming as well. So when we claim we know all this, we should be very careful, because I'm gonna quiz.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's the spirit, man. Woohoo. Okay. So there is that zone transfer. We have to at least once see all the portions of DNS, whether it's boring or not, but it's really important as a system administrator, because we never know which information will be very handy at what time. So that's why it might seem like, oh, we're not doing any lab, but theory part is always as important. Okay, DNS CMD in our arsenal of scripts and you know, commands. If you want to create from command prompt anything, suppose you have been given a server core there, and you've been told, okay, can you create one A record here, only an A record, an IP of a server and a name of a server, but you have to create it from command prompt. So now you're like, okay, where's Google? And there's no internet connection as well. That's it. And the boss is staring at you, and you're looking at the boss. And then you just think that, okay, I'll be honest. Sorry, sir, I don't know that. So the boss says, okay, I'll get someone who knows that. So the other guy comes and he says you as, and you're like, I'll get you for that. So anyway, if that happens, for that situation, to avoid that situation, let's learn that, right? Okay, that was a long one. And not funny. So DNS CMD does everything from the command prompt, and DNS records, zone database, resource record. Yeah, we did that. Okay, but I'll just send you one command for DNS CMD to create one resource record from there, and then we're going for. I'm just actually flying for that, but you need to really understand some of the topics here. Okay, all creating and configuring DNS resource records. When you create a new zone. So when do we create a new zone? Anyone knows that?
When you first create your primary zone.
When do we do that? Did we do that all?
When you, yeah, we did it for our Netplus domain. When we install Active Directory.
When we install Active Directory, at that time we are creating our new zone. And you know what's the name of the zone we created? Yeah, Netplus-70.local. That's the name of the zone as well.
Yeah.
Our domain name is actually our zone name as well. So SOA, right? If Brad was there, you know, he would have said something else. Actually, he did. You know, he did that. So instead of A, you know what? So anyway, so SOA is specifies authoritative information about a DNS zone. Start of authority. You know where's that tab? So if I go to domain controller and then DNS server, is, I think this is the area, right? Properties. So we see here a tab called start of authority. So what does that mean?
What the primary server?
Well, yeah, authority starts from here. That's why it's start of authority. Wow, what an explanation. Woohoo! So that this server is authorized, whatever changes and whatever queries it's answering, it is authorized to do that. It has the read and write copy of the database, so it is sort of authority. If it was a read-only copy, definitely it's not. Okay, and then there are refresh intervals as well, and we can just change it to primary server. If we click browse here, we can just change that. If there is a server 2 also having DNS server, we can change that. Okay, the start of authority could be server 2 as well. If you want to change that server, hosting server, whoever is hosting that, so we can change. Oh, this is a primary server, or the other one is primary server. Responsible person, hostmaster.netplus-domain.local. You can see that there is no @ sign here. This is a bug in Microsoft that I thought would be removed, but in 2012. But instead of @ sign here, if you put @ sign, it's never gonna work. So it's dot here, right? But instead of hostmaster, we can just put here administrator, and it's going to send all the resource records. If our email is working fine, it's gonna send all those. What is TTL? Time to leave. No, time to live. Yeah, it's just TTL is 10 minutes now. Okay, 15 minutes actually. So TTL. So, yeah, time to leave when? After 15 minutes, sir. Okay. So Dinesh is most happy. No, we are all most happy actually. So today's theory bombarded on us. So but DNS, we really need to visit these options there, right? What is time to live anyway? A resource query can live for its days, hours, minutes, so it's 1 hour. For 1 hour, the resource record will be, the request will be there for DNS to search for. After that, it's going to discard that. Oh, I cannot find web server number 32 here, so I'm gonna still try to find it for this much time here, TTL, but after that I'm gonna discard your query and you have to just request again. So that's TTL, right? Most common resource records, we always, anyone knows what is PTR record?
Pointer.
How long the record? Sorry, are you asking what TTL is or pointer?
Yeah.
PTR
It's a pointer array
Point.
that points to
record. Pointer record means it point to the record. Yeah, you were saying?
the record.
Yeah. No, I'm still, enjoying the situation. So yeah, PTR. Okay, so no, PTR record is for reverse lookup zone, right? And forward lookup zone, it's a host record, right? So if I go there, I was gonna say a joke, but I had to pause for that. I don't want to do that. So so let's just go for that because we are reaching the TTL anyway. So Netplus domain A record we were creating, which is for a machine, a name and an IP, right? So PTR record is in reverse lookup zone, right? Which we did not configure. But if the name and IP is here in A record, in forward lookup zone, and if you wanted to create a pointer record, which is in reverse lookup zone, then it's going to, so let's just quickly create a reverse lookup zone here, right click. So I'm right clicking the reverse lookup zone here. Exchange servers must always have reverse lookup zone, so their IP addresses should be traced back. That is it a legit email server or not, or is it just scammers? Not scammers, spammers. Okay, so reverse lookup zone, right click, new zone. Everyone there? Yes. Next, primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone. We are creating a primary zone here. Then creating next. Yes, it should inform all DNS servers across the domain or across the forest or previous older servers. So we're just gonna go for middle one. Next, IPv4 reverse lookup zone. Yes, no, we're not using v6. And what is the network ID here? So 198.162.200.
Yeah.
192.168.200. Next, so allow only secure dynamic updates here. So then it goes for, anyone knows what's a secure dynamic updates?
I believe that's
HTTPS.
Nope.
Then,
Only the secure dynamic update recommend for the Active Directory options available to active.
So it's for those computers' queries that are part of the domain. So if a query is coming from a work group, the DNS will discard that query. That, oh, you want to connect to print server 23, and you're not part of the domain. Okay, I don't know you. I'm set on secure dynamic update. So if you're part of the Active Directory, you're joined to the domain, and then the query is coming from, I want to connect to the print server this. So so it's going to answer only queries from those servers which are joined to the domain. So hence secure dynamic. Dynamic means automatic updates, right? So the PCs have to be joined to the domain to request for any DNS query. Next, finito. So reverse lookup zone is here, but we do not see a pointer record for anything that is created in forward lookup zone. So we have server 1 here, server 2 here, client 1 in my case, print server 1. They're all reverse lookup zone must have the pointer records for them as well, PTR records, right? So if we go back to the netplus domain.local, and if we go to server 01 here, server 01, double click that. If you double click server 01, update associated pointer record here. So the pointer record is just, so forward lookup zone has information about server 1 as server 1 and the IP address. The reverse lookup zone has information about server 1 as IP address, and it's other way around. That's it. So if it's going to answer the queries which are already having IP address, but they don't know the name of the server, so reverse lookup zone is there for that, right? So 192.168.2.1, if we update that and apply, does it appear there? If you go to reverse lookup zone now, see, it does not appear. Oh, okay. So refresh, and there you go. So pointer record has first IP address and then name. In forward lookup zone, we have first name and then IP address. So the difference is that reverse lookup zone will handle those queries like Linux server. They just know the IP address, suppose, and they want to connect, they want to know the name, or they want to connect with the name to the actual server. So the Linux server will be, their request will be handled by reverse lookup zone of our DNS server, right? So any non-Microsoft servers, they want to know the name and they have an IP address. They will have an IP address because, you know, IP address search is common, so easily available. So DNS will tell, oh, that's the name against that IP address, right? So reverse lookup zone is just having IP address and name because it resolves IP address to host names, and forward lookup zone has names and IP because it resolves host names to IP address. Okay, everyone's excited. You're really, yeah.
By DNS, can we give limitation access to some sites, like what we did in host the file, the system, Windows System 32?
Yes.
It could,
In
add
DNS?
address there. By DNS can we,
Like,
for example, company policies, nobody have allowed to access to Facebook.
You can point it to an IP address that doesn't go anywhere. You can do that. However, if they're not using your DNS server, then you wouldn't be able to block.
so if, yeah,
That doesn't
you're
always change. For example, Facebook has
just like we did in host file. If we give a wrong IP address to, we tell DNS that it's a wrong IP address, which that's not the popular way to do it. You want to block some access to sites, so it's not DNS server that would be doing that. Host file, I gave the way because that's a unique way to do it, and this is only on that particular computer. That's all. DNS server level, it's handling requests from thousands of computers, suppose. So then we have a separate software for that. Web applications.
How about firewall?
Firewalls can block ports, but websites all use, you know, one specific port 80 through internet, right? So it's a,
If you block
it's a
maybe
web.
you block many other sites.
If you wanna block sites, there's a separate software for blocking site that you get. It's a proxy server, but it's not only a proxy server. Third party, exactly. Microsoft also has those servers. In proxy server also we could block easily. ISA server, ISA server was there. TMG server is there. So ISA server was the old one. Then TMG's threat management gateway. That server is there as well. If you want to include that, but it's also going away. So I'm just gonna touch or fly by some other topics here before we all pack up. So we have just 128 slides more. I'm just kidding. Okay. So it's like, oh no. Oh, okay. So
Whatever you're gonna say now
is like, yeah.
I mean, next week we have class.
Yeah, so you know, the question was coming from two Rajas, that no, one Raja and one Raj, okay, Raj K, that are we closing it so soon? So I saw that sadness, I felt it.
Okay.
So then, no, there were some topics left, so that's why. Okay. Yeah, we're just having 2 more days. I didn't want to wrap up those topics like this. But still there is no lab for that. I mean, we just need to go there and check that, right? So we are already bored to death here. So okay, let's just
Thank you, sir.
come back again on Monday. All right. It's still TTL is 4 minutes. Come on, time to leave is 4 minutes. Okay.
TTL.